We are now sort of confronted with the reality of this upcoming election. What do you think is at stake in the U.S. election for tech and for the safe stewardship of AI? Do you feel like that's a critical issue that voters should and will have to consider in this election?
I think the now confronted is part of the problem. Actually, I think most people who come to Davos...
Wait, say that again? I didn't quite get that.
I think part of the problem is we're saying we're now confronted. It never occurred to us that what Trump is saying might be resonating with a lot of people. And now all of a sudden, after this performance in Iowa, oh man. It's a very Davos-centric view,
I've been here for 2 days, I guess.
It just gets in your head. So I would love if we had a lot more reflection and if we started a lot sooner and we didn't feel now confronted. But I think there's a lot at stake at this election. I think elections are, huge deals. I believe that America is going to be fine, no matter what happens in this election. I believe that AI is going to be fine, no matter what happens in this election. And we will have to work very hard to make it so. But this is not, no one wants to sit up here and hear me rant about politics, so I'm going to stop after this, I promise. But I think there has been a real failure to sort of learn lessons about what's kind of working for the citizens of America and what's not.
Anna, I want to ask you the same question. Taking your political background into account, what do you feel like for Silicon Valley, for AI, is at stake in the U.S. election?
I think what has struck me and has been really remarkable is that the conversation around AI has remained very bipartisan. And so, I think that the one concern I have is that somehow...
Both parties hate it.
Yeah. No, but this is an area where Republicans tend to, of course, have an approach where they are not as in favor of regulation. But on this, I think there's agreement on both parties that they believe that something is needed on this technology. Senator Schumer has this bipartisan effort that he's running with his Republican counterparts. Again, when we speak to people in D.C. on both sides of the aisle, for now, it seems like they're on the same page.
And do you feel like all the existing campaigns are equally articulate about the issues relating to AI?
I don't know that AI has really been a campaign issue to date. So it will be interesting to see how that evolves.